Hey guys, so somebody has broken into my friend Dr. Eudorah's school, and I'm gonna tell you about that when I return on the Eric McNeil Be Free Show.
Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Hey guys, welcome. You've just discovered the Eric McNeil Be Free Show, where it's all about being financially independent, responsible for self, enjoying life, and empowering others free. So today, I have a bit of bad news. I woke up this morning and read on Facebook where my friend Dr. Eudorah, who owns the Prince L International Community School Complex that we raised the funds for to do the borehole. So, in the midst of us trying to get her borehole installed, and just trying to make sure that the contractor finishes up his work, lo and behold, she posted that somebody broke into the school, which is also their home, this morning around 4 a.m.-ish, and ended up stealing, she said by the time she woke up they had stole 2 iPhones. They stole her iPhone and her friend Ahnav's iPhone. So, she said she woke up and heard him and said she was screaming, and Anahv was in his room, and so he didn't wake up, until she went back there and say, I guess, she's probably a light sleeper, and Anahv's probably a, heavy sleeper, like, and I'm a light sleeper. I'm like, I hear you walking, and I'll wake up. Like, I just don't sleep like that. I hear anything. But as it is, as it stands, she said they end up getting 2 iPhones, and it's about, all they had a chance to take. And she said, she knows who it was. She said, she saw the guy, she knows, and I'll talk more about that in a little while. But I'm gonna tell you here, we have a lot of petty crime here. Like, this is a developing country, so you have a lot of petty theft here. We don't have like violent theft. We don't have a lot of violent theft. It's more petty crime, but there is a lot of it. I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot to go around. So you have to be aware of it. People often be talking about, why they need walls and why they need this. Okay, you think that there's no crime here because you've been lured to sleep and you got your, rose-colored shades on coming over here, and you think you just say, everybody, there's no crime in a gun. I said, okay. Okay. So, I mean, that's why you go. Like, a lot of times you go, like in her case, they came, they just went right over the wall. But that's why you see a lot of times the walls here, you see them, they have like glass. They use, like crushed up glass, and they have the glass sticking up out of the walls. They have these nails sticking up, or these spikes sticking up, out of the top of the wall, so it's more difficult to get over them. You see a lot of that. You also see like the barbed wire on the walls as well. You see a lot of that. But a lot of times they'll cut the wire off and they'll go sell it because the wire is valuable, right? They'll cut that wire right off the wall. So, people tend to put like that glass, and they concrete it in there so the glass is sticking out, or the nails or the spikes are sticking out. So you can't just go, cut something off and sell it, because they'll sell that wire, like those wire, barbed wire that's, it's rolled up, it's not barbed wire, but it's the razor wire. Yeah, they'll go sell that stuff, man. Yeah, it's something here. if you recall, my friends who initially came and did the interview, John and Sophia of Native Born's channel, they're the first ones who came and interviewed me a few years back here. And if you recall, they did a video where somebody broke into their apartment when they first moved here and stole a lot of their electronics, stole their phone, their iPhone, stole their I guess their laptop computers, and it really set them back because they were like digital warriors and had everything on their phones and on their laptops. Sophia, she had all her work. So that really set them back and just really changed their trajectory in Ghana. It just made things, and because we live with these electronics, so we depend on them, somebody get a hold of them, it could just upset your entire world, just change you. And that's what it did for them when they got their items stolen. It just really, things took a turn for the worse because they had so much of their work on those, so on the laptops. So anyway, and they say, people just came, they didn't come in, but what they'll do is just go to the window. Even if you have like these burglar bars, if your stuff is close to the window, they'll stick their hands right in and get the stuff, right? So you have to, be a little cognizant of what you're doing. And I don't necessarily have all the story with Eudorah, but she said that, I guess they had this they took mop, and I guess they took the mop handle or something and put like some tape around it so they could, put it through the window and take the stuff. So it's somebody who knows your movement and know what you're doing. But you have to be careful here, man. This is hey, brother, I'm telling you, when you riding down the street in a car or something, they caution you about just having your phone exposed, where you riding in traffic in certain areas, you have your windows down and your phone is just sitting there in one of the compartments or something. Somebody stick their hands right through, grab that phone, and they be gone. So you have to be thinking about it. You just have your window down and you just kind of looking at your phone, lost and waiting at the traffic light, and somebody just roll up on a motorcycle, boom, 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 and grab your phone, and he gone, boom, and he gone. So you have to be, a little, savvy about how you carry yourself here. You out somewhere eating or something, and you have your phone sitting on the table and not paying attention. Somebody come right across over there and just grab it, and they gone. It happens, and they caution you. They send notices. I seen a notice not too long ago about a lot of the hot spots at the traffic lights in Ghana where phones and electronics were getting stolen. So they were cautioning people about, hey, if you at these areas, be very careful. And I remember a few years ago when I first got here, and me and my wife was staying at I guess that's the Ashley Bowtree area, near I guess they call it School Junction, Ashley Bowtree. But she was coming home, and she, that's why, I don't usually get these expensive phones. I be trying to get the cheapest phone I can find, I don't really do these iPhone. I never had an iPhone, but I just try to get the cheapest phones. But she had one of those expensive phones that I had purchased her. I guess it was a Sony or something. So, it was a fairly expensive phone, but She had one, and she was coming home maybe from church or something, and she was waiting for, I guess, a trotro or something, and somebody in a taxi or something pulled up. Hey, I know you. I give you a free ride. You know, don't even worry. I give you a free ride. And this is another thing you have to be very careful of, is that these guys are drive around in like a taxi vehicle looking for somebody to rob, and you know, and usually they pick a female, and you know, you might have two of them in there. You know, they have somebody in the driver, and then somebody in the back seat or something like that, and then you roll up, and you know, they roll up on you rather, and be offering you free rides and stuff. You have to be very careful. Typically, you know, go to a taxi rental car. Really, you know, don't be just getting in there when you see some, you know, a lot of men in there. But you know, she jumped in there, and you know, they're like, oh, we'll take you home. You know, don't even worry about it. You know, you just come. You don't have to pay. And she jumps in there with him, and she say, soon as she got in, you know, she realized she had made a mistake, and she got real nervous. And I guess right at that time, I was probably calling her and trying to find out her whereabouts, and she answered the phone, and you know, and I could tell in her voice that she was kind of nervous, and something, you know, wasn't right. And so, but she said, you know, and when they saw that phone, you know, and she was real nervous, and she said, you know, she put it back, but she was trying so hard to get out the vehicle, and she just lost all thought of the phone, and you know, so they let her out because they took the phone. They took the phone, and they finally let her out. That's why, you know, they didn't have to try and, you know, forcibly rob her, because they just took that phone. And like I say, it was an expensive phone too. But yeah, this stuff happens, guys. You have to be very, very aware of your surroundings here. Like I say, it's not like violent crime, but there's a lot of petty theft that goes on here, and people take advantage of an opportunity. They see that, hey, you let your guards down, and something for them to take, they're gonna take it. They're gonna take it, you know. So yeah, so anyway, you know, I saw the Facebook message. My friend say, you know, around 3 to 4 a.m. this morning, somebody broke into the school, took the iPhones, and so, you know, she was pretty devastated. Yeah, and she said, you know, like I say, she said she know pretty much, you know, 100% certainty who it was, and she said that, you know, and I'm not going to say who it was, but the person is an apprentice of somebody, and that somebody has children in her school. And let me tell you about the apprentice, because these guys tell on themselves even before they do their dirt. You know, one of the things that happen is when they see foreigners around, they just assume that you have a lot of money. So she's renting a room to Anahv, and if you've watched my video from previously where I interviewed her, and I also interviewed Anahv in the video, so Anahv is from the U.S., so you know, he has that U.S. accent, and so now, you know, the belief is that, hey, there's money over there. And it doesn't help that I've been over there a few times filming, and you know, they all looking, you know, and the word is spread that, hey, you know, these Obrunis are over there, and she has money, even though there is really no money, right? Whatsoever. But that is just the belief now, is that, yeah, there's money over there. So at any rate, you know, they see Anahv, and then they see me over there, and what happened is that when I went over there to make the video of the company installing the borehole about a week ago or so, she said that on that very day, the apprentice asked Anahv, he came over and called Anahv over and asked Anahv for some money. And Anahv said he didn't have any money to give him. And so I guess, you know, that was the first sign that he was planning to do some dirt. And lo and behold, poof, you know, now he's breaking in, trying, you know, well, he was able to steal 2 of the iPhones, right? And so, you know, but anyway, I just told her to go ahead and suggested she report it to the police, that they ain't gonna do nothing, but, you know, just go through the motions and just to have it reported. Maybe, you know, maybe somebody else has a problem down the road or something, and they end up reporting it, and at some point, you know, karma will catch up to the guy. But, you know, it's sad. So she said that she, you know, asked the guy, the apprentice, who she said, you know, she knew, you know, after she went out, say she asked him, you know, did he see anything? Say, because she already knew it was him. And what was he doing? Because it was like, she said, it was like, what, 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning. say he had been out, he was up because he had been out jogging. Now let me tell you something. We don't jog in Africa. Like that's just something you just don't see the average person doing. You know, since I've been here since 2016, I can count the number of people I've seen jogging on maybe 2 hands. You just don't see that. Maybe in the you know, the very high-end communities, you might see like the Europeans and Americans or something like that jogging, but the Africans, we ain't jogging, you know, because Africans work. They, you know, they working. You don't need to jog. You mobile, you know, and you don't need to jog because you've been working. That's something, you know, you do on TV, you know, do it on the movies, they jogging, but them people here ain't jogging. No, the average person here ain't, very few people here talking about they jogging. So, but that's what he said. He said he was out jogging. I said, boy, okay, 3:30, 4 a.m., he out jogging. And say, you know, she had spotted him, you know, and she said she even saw him peeking out the container. Maybe I'm telling too much when I say that, but I'm still, you know, I ain't gonna tell you who it was. But anyway, she asked his boss, you know, told his boss, and said the boss took up for him, you know, that, hey, he, you know, he said he was out jogging, and say, well, you know, I mean, to me that tells me, hey, maybe the boss was in on it, but she say, no, she don't think so, you know, just that he has blind faith in his apprentice. I said, you know, that's fair enough. You know, maybe he does have blind faith in the apprentice. I said, but in my book, whether he was involved or whether he just had blind faith in his apprentice, me, he just is guilty, because if you that dumb enough to think that your apprentice was out jogging at 4 a.m. In the morning, and you know, and acting all nervous and stuff, and something's wrong. I'm like, you know, if it was me, I can't tell you what to do, but you know, I'm controversial, so you know, I don't back down from no conflict. You know, I'm like, hey, man, if it was me, them children, I'd be like, hey, you got, you know, if you don't get my stuff from your apprentice, if you don't get my stuff, because I know your apprentice took my stuff. And if you don't get your stuff from my apprentice, then your children have to leave my school, and you and me don't need to talk no more. Period. Bam. You know, because I don't need friends. I don't need to talk to you. I don't need friends because, you know, when you get involved with me with some foolishness, and I know beyond the shadow of a doubt, you know, I ain't as forgiving as most people. But, you know, most people forgiving. They can do that. That's why I don't have a lot. Y'all see me. You see me, I live in the mountain. I don't have a lot of friends. You know why? Because I don't put up with a lot of foolishness. Like, I'm an ex-military guy. I don't put up with too much foolishness. You know, I'm like, hey, people be like, man, that dude, that Eric boy, he just point blank. I am. Sometimes I can just be point blank, like, hey, I don't care what. Yeah, it's just what it is. So, but anyway, you know, hopefully she can get her stuff back, and if not, you know, that's just, you know, it's just a lesson, you know. I'm like, hey, when you're about to, when you're doing things, then a lot of times you have obstacles, and it's just evidence that you're doing something positive. A lot of times that's when you find yourself confronted with a lot of obstacles, and you just have to rise above them, you know, and just thank God that nobody was hurt, and you just move on. You just move on. You know, I hate that this has happened, but yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna tell her, you know, to get you know, like these, like on the house I put a motion light up here, and so it's a solar motion light. I'll show you. Let me see if I can get a picture of it. But it's a solar motion light, and let's see. Alright, so yeah, that's a solar motion light. And so, you know, I think you can find those from probably as little as 100 cities or something. And like, you know, that one might cost a little more. So anyway, like I was saying, that, you know, it doesn't become operational. You can program it so that it doesn't become operational until the sun goes down. And then, you know, you set, like, you know, once somebody walks in the area, then it comes on, and it gets fairly bright. So if you have a few of those around your house, then it's enough to usually scare people away, because, you know, it comes on and it stays on for some minutes. You know, you program that it stays on for quite a while. So with that much light, it's not likely that they're going to want to be around your house at no 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, right? So I'm going to suggest that she get a few of those, and, you know, if you're so inclined to support her school, you know, then by all means, you know, maybe send her a couple, you know, send her, you know, offer to get her a couple of those solar floodlights, if you will. So, at any rate, you know, there's always something going on here, guys. It's, you know, we're always having fun, you know. There's always problems to be solved, you know. I understand that you work hard, and, you know, you think, hey, things are coming together, and then, just like that, something out of nowhere comes to try and upset you. But that's part of growing, and, you know, it's part of being in business. It's you're always going to have problems, right? This thing is not easy, you know. I tell people, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And it is not easy. That's why everybody's not doing this. So you know, you entrepreneurial, and you're like, man, this thing's always happening, you know, and it's always tough. Yeah, it's tough. You're right, it's tough. So, yeah, so at any rate, you like what we're talking about, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, and you can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Eric McNeil is free. And as always, Oodra Ahuru. Now be free.